Today I'm driving the brand new Toyota RAV4, and I'll be able to share those driving impressions October 22nd, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Make sure to stay tuned on the channel for that. But in the meantime, we have some real hype from Toyota leading up to the Japan Mobility Show. Once again, I'll be attending the show, giving you guys some hands-on coverage, not only Toyota, but of other cars as well. We will talk about Mazda's booth at the back end of this video. Mazda is going to be showing a new car. All right, but guys, there's nothing bigger right now than the two models that I haven't covered from Toyota, Lexus, and Century. Yesterday I covered the 6x6 LS Reimagination minivan, crazy. Anyways, check out that video, insane. What we have here, we're gonna look into and dive into the new Corolla. Okay, where's the Corolla? There it is. Okay, geez. We had to get over 50 seconds in to get our first look at the new Corolla here. All right, what are we looking at? This looks very high-end, very premium. Look at all the lights. Like, there's too much lights to give me an identity to this car. Not only do we have a light bar, it's pixelated like an Ionic vehicle. All right, we have some really aggressive daytime running lights, nighttime lights here, and more accent lights going down the edge of the bumper. Pretty aggressive front end, and it looks like it's fully battery electric. All right. Still keeping the Toyota badge way up here, which I'm a fan of. And then it says Corolla Concept right here. Oh my goodness gracious. Look at the back. I think the back end looks a lot cleaner. They're not just making a light bar that everyone else is doing. They're breaking it up. They're giving it some lines. I like how, the little spoiler here seems to have a shadow of taillight below it. So it looks pretty good there. All right, driving into the sunset. The sunrise, one of the two. To you, Toyota. All right, they have some other images, so let's go over it. This is radical. Absolutely. You see the door handles that are flat against the car. You see a charging port here, big old wheels. I mean, the stance is much wider than a typical Corolla. And when I'm looking at this, it reminds me of two other vehicles, and I'll put them over on top of the screen for you guys. It reminds me of the FT3E that Toyota debuted at last Japan Mobility Show, which was kind of like maybe a future fully electric RAV4 sort of thing. All right, that design's been made into this. Also, the design of the LFZC concept seems to be boiled into this Corolla. All right, so most of the people I'm reading online are loving this design. I don't know yet. To me, this is extraordinarily radical, and it reminds me of how radical the new Lexus ES is. It's a huge departure, and what we have here is surely a battery electric. Now, does that mean the next Corolla is going to be only battery electric? And the answer is, well, it might have a battery electric option. We know Toyota is other than China, okay, Toyota's getting away from BZ nomenclature as much as possible. Okay, and using their traditional lineage and nomenclature for electric cars. Okay, and that's why the new Highlander is expected to be electric, plug-in hybrid, that sort of thing. All right, the new Corolla is going to more than likely offer an electric variant. We've been hearing plug-in hybrid variant from Japan with the new 1.5 liter four-cylinder engine. Okay, so kind of like a potential e-Rev, but we haven't seen Toyota even showcase e-Rev yet, at least in the US. They might have some in China. Okay, so we know Toyota is continuing to invest in the traditional plug-in hybrid. Look at the new RAV4 that I'll be driving today with 324 horsepower, for example. Okay, this is just super radical. I don't know what to think of it. And yes, it is a concept, but look, it has side mirrors. Anytime you have side mirrors, it takes me one step further to production. Now, the new Corolla is it's due. We should have had a new Corolla probably announced this year, and sort of we are with this concept, but we still might be 2 years away from the new Corolla redesign. And you don't see a charging port on this side of the Corolla. And it's just, the hood, you can kind of get lines of the Prius, for example, and that makes sense because traditionally they've shared the same platform. Currently, they're both on the TA and GAC platform. All right, will this be, this could be a gigacasted, or what Toyota calls gigacast, or Tesla. It could be stamped into the 3 different parts. If they decide to have a Corolla that is separate from the current platform, which is possible, is it likely? I don't know. Like everything electrified right now seems to be a risk from any automaker. All right, either you might hit it, but the chances are it's not going to be good with a new fully electric product. So more than likely, this is going to have gasoline, hybrid, plug-in hybrid, and fully electric. Could Toyota pull that off? It's possible. But look at this, and this is something the other image didn't show. Look at the glass here. There's no headliner bar or member brace here over the top. Okay, it's almost a fully glass roof all the way to you get to the B pillar, and then it turns to metallic roof. Kind of Tesla-like-ish, I guess you could say. All right, let me know if you guys enjoy that sort of cutting edge technology there. Again, would it make it to production? I don't know. This is a concept. There's a world that this vehicle never comes out in the way we see it. All right. Speaking of vehicles coming out, will it come out? Will it not come out? All right. Toyota also showed this guy. All right. This is the new Century, and Lexus is no longer going to be a global flagship. All right. I believe Oculus plans are to spread Century to the world. They don't talk about that in the live stream where they announced this vehicle, but it only makes sense in my opinion. You could sell this line of vehicles, the Century SUV and the Century Coupe, at Lexus dealers through a specific point of contact. All right, and they only sold like 400 Centuries last year globally, and it's only sold in Japan and China, I think, at the moment. All right, so we have a coupe that its doors open out towards you, and there's actually 2 doors here. There's one here and then one in front. Okay, so the big door slides forward, the small door slides back. So it's easier to get into this vehicle. Also, it's a flex. These doors can't be cheap to manufacture. And we know based off of the price of the Century SUV, this thing would be at least $150,000. Look at the ride height. It's a coupe. Look at the ride height here. It is super high off the ground. More than likely, I would say it's fully electric. Let's look at some of the other images. All right, looking at the back of the Century, it's got that word font in the back. These taillights look amazing. Look at the Phoenix badge, and all the Phoenix badges are made by hand, all right, into the C-pillar area. Like, there's no rear window either. Okay, we see that from Polestar, for example. I'm not a fan of not having a rear window. Again, it's a concept, but I'd love to have a rear window. And let's talk about this orange. Century's always been black. Now, they introduced new colors on the Century SUV, but Century has always been like clean. It's black and silver accents, okay? But this is orange. Who else is using orange? And that would be Genesis's Magma. All right, so it's not like Genesis Magma has an exclusivity to orange, but Toyota wants this brand to pop to make it sit above Lexus. Now, Lexus has had some really good oranges in the past as well. All right, so this is kind of a Rolls-Royce Spectre, a Bentley Continental GT fighter. And this paint color, look how bright the contrast is if the light hits it just right. This grille looks just like the Century's grille on the SUV, the big Phoenix logo here. Look, these inlets on the hood. All right, does that mean it could have a gasoline engine? I guess it could. Look how porous this grille is here. So it could potentially have a gasoline engine, but it's, you know, as cool as a 5-liter V8 would be in here, don't think it's going to happen. And there's no side mirrors here either. There's no rear glass. This is pretty heavily conceptualized. Now, I think they'll take the overall Bodhi dimensions and try to make it into a production car. Lexus and Toyota, Akio Toyota did not say this is coming to production, but him and Simon Humphries, the lead designer at Toyota, they eventually just said, hey, we wouldn't make a concept car just for the sake of making a concept car. This will come to production more than likely. That's essentially what they're saying. All right, look, they made the Century SUV come to production. They'll make this coupe come to production as well. Better look at the grille here and the bottom of the bumper. With this much airflow, that would indicate to me it could be a plug-in hybrid like the current Century SUV. To me, when you have this sort of elegance, this sort of luxury, you need to have an insane powertrain. What Toyota or Lexus has planned, I don't know. It could be the twin turbo V8 seen in the new GR GT. That would be insane. That's what I would want to see. And then the side profile, really small A-pillar here, if there's one at all, right? It's highly conceptualized. Vertical lines here, this seems to be a very popular Toyota design now, whether it's a new GR GT, that Corolla concept we just saw a second ago. Like, they like using vertical bars at the moment, and that's okay. I think it makes for clean lines. All right, so there's the Century Coupe. Don't expect it to come to America, but it would be a huge wasted opportunity, Toyota, to not expand the Century brand. And they will probably talk more about it at the Japan Mobility Show, what their plans are for Lexus, what their plans are for Century, what their plans are for Gazoo Racing, etc. Like I mentioned, there's a strong likelihood that this Century brand will be sold under the Lexus umbrella, not as a Lexus car, but at Lexus dealerships, just like Gazoo Racing vehicles, GR cars, sports cars could be sold very well at Lexus dealers. Very interesting. All right, let's go ahead and look at the new Mazda concept. Look how tiny these windows are. I mean, this looks like you take the Mazda 3 hatchback and you make a longer, probably inline 6 sort of vehicle out of it. Could this finally be the new Mazda 6? I have no idea. Even this little bar right here reminds me of the CX-50's window trimmings. Bizarre, but yeah, this rounded eggness reminds me a lot of the Mazda 3. I brightened up the image, can't see much. You have a digital side mirror, and you can actually see, oh shoot, I just closed out the other window. You can actually see the glass here on the back, and it's a four-door coupe. It's a four-door coupe. To me, this does not look like a crossover as well at all. So it could be a 5-door, kind of like a Kia Stinger sort of thing, but in the eggy rounded shapeness of a Mazda 3. Super bizarre. I will give you hands-on coverage of this vehicle. Mazda designs are typically breathtaking. The window line here, like, here's the thing. This looks way too conceptualized. If you look at the Corolla, you look at the Century Coupe, those look far more production ready than what we see here. That's just my take. This looks pretty far out. The windows would have to be significantly bigger. Otherwise, I'd feel like I'm trapped, which I kind of already do in the Mazda CX-30 or the Mazda 3 right now. But I'm excited for it. What do you guys think? Japan Mobility Show, we're just a few days away. Here's Toyota's booth. This is their landing page. Let me go ahead and shrink it for you so you can see it better. All right, then the Koyoi Bako is going to be at the Japan Mobility Show. Once again, I would adore this vehicle if it came to America. I would absolutely love it, but don't know. Doubt it would come here, unfortunately. Tokyo Big Sight is where I'll be in a couple weeks to give you guys hands-on coverage of all these cool vehicles from Toyota, from Lexus, from Daihatsu. If you guys want to see Daihatsu, we don't get them in America, so it doesn't make sense for me with my limited time to cover them, really. And Century is going to be insane. It's going to be awesome. And I'm most excited, to be honest, I'm most excited for Lexus. Are they going to show us something other than this 6x6 LS Frankenstein? Okay, they killed the LS sedan, and they say, okay, here's our new idea of what an LS could be, and it's a 6x6 MPV. Again, vertical bars, like we just talked about on the Century Coupe. Okay, we saw vertical bars on the Toyota Corolla concept. So vertical bars are not going anywhere for Toyota designs, whether it's a Lexus or not. And we are less than a year away from the LFZC concept, the coupe electric car, the small sedan electric car from Lexus debuting on the market, available for purchase. So I hope that's at the Japan Mobility Show in more production ready form, because time's ticking. That vehicle is supposed to come out in 2026. I think it's been pushed back to 2027 potentially at this point. So we'll see what Lexus is planning, but I hope it's more than a 6x6 minivan called the LS. All right, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more coverage here on the channel. I'm going to probably crank out 4 videos today on the new RAV4. So I gotta protect my voice because it's been going out lately. So thank you guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Have a great day and peace.